Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle one of the most stressful parts of any manual QA interview. You know the one I'm talking about, the situational question. We're going to flip that stress on its head and show you how to turn those tricky scenarios into the perfect moment to really show what you've got.
Right? This is the big one that keeps people tossing and turning. But here's the thing you got to remember. These questions aren't traps. They're actually an invitation. Interviewers want to see how your brain works, how you problem solve and communicate when you're on the spot. So don't think of it as a memory test. Think of it as your chance to show them your thought process. And the best way to do that? Tell a great story. There's a super simple framework for this we'll break down later, but first, let's see how it actually plays out.
First up, let's get into a topic that, trust me, is pretty much guaranteed to come up: conflict. Because, let's be real, every project has some friction. The trick is showing that you can handle it like a pro. So let's start with a true classic.
Yes, the age-old tug-of-war. When an interviewer asks you this, they're digging for more than just your technical chops. They're absolutely testing your skills in collaboration, diplomacy, and problem-solving, all in one go. It's really all about how you handle a professional disagreement.
So, what's the game plan? You come in with a clear, fact-based process. This isn't about picking a fight, it's about demonstrating the facts. First, you reproduce that bug with steps that are so clear anyone can follow them. Then, you back it all up with cold, hard evidence. We're talking logs, screenshots, test data. After that, you connect it right back to the official requirements. And only then, if you're still at a standstill, do you escalate. You gotta remember, it's not about winning, it's about doing what's right for the project.
And this right here is a perfect example of why that approach is so powerful. Instead of just saying, hey, the save button's broken, you can say, okay, so when I click save, the data doesn't actually get written to the database, and here's the query proving it. See how that just completely shifts the conversation? It moves from opinion to fact. It's professional, it's objective, and it's way more effective.
All right, let's switch gears a little. Now we're going to talk about questions that get to the very heart of what a QA tester actually does. This is your big chance to show that you get the full picture, the whole scope of your responsibilities. Now, this might sound like a really basic question, but a strong answer here shows that you understand what it takes to build confidence in a product. It proves you see your role as way more than just finding bugs. It's about being a guardian of quality.
And if you look closely, you'll see these aren't just random tasks on a list. They're actually part of a cycle. It always starts with really, truly understanding the requirements. From there, you build your test plans, you run them, you report what you find, and you work with the team in stand-ups and reviews. Every single step feeds right into the next, and it's all for one ultimate goal: shipping a high-quality product that does what users need it to do.
Of course, doing the work is only half of it. How do you let everyone know what's going on? This next question really gets into your organizational and communication skills. Because stakeholders, managers, clients, they need to know where things stand. And a great QA professional makes that crystal clear. And you do that with data. You can talk about using something like a QA dashboard that shows the key metrics at a glance. So, for example, you could say something like, okay team, we've executed 85% of our planned test cases. The good news is 95% of those passed, but we still have 3 critical defects open that we really need to focus on. That is a perfect, bite-sized update. It gives everybody exactly what they need to know.
Okay, so you've shown you can handle conflict, and you know your core responsibilities. Now it's time to really level up your answers. This section is all about showing you get the why behind the testing, not just the how. It's where you get to show off your strategic side.
Here is a super common question that's designed to see just that. It's not a trick question about which one is better. What the interviewer really wants to know is if you understand that you need different tools for different jobs and that you have the wisdom to know when to use each one.
And this chart breaks it down beautifully. Scripted testing is your organized, documented, follow-the-recipe approach. It's absolutely essential for regression testing and stable parts of the application. But exploratory testing? That's where you get to be a detective. It's about using your intuition and experience to find those weird, unexpected bugs, especially in new features. A truly great tester knows they need both in their toolkit.
Now this is the question. This is the one that separates the good testers from the truly great ones. See, anyone can find a bug. But a strategic QA professional, they find the bugs that matter to the business, and they make sure their work has a direct, positive impact on the bottom line.
So how do you actually do that? Well, you make sure your testing is always aligned with the business goals. You don't just test things at random. You focus on the most critical user journeys. Think about an e-commerce app.
you're going to put most of your energy on the payment and order confirmation flows. And why is that? Because that's where the money comes from. Every single test you run should tie back to a business requirement, proving that your work directly supports the success of the product.
So, we've talked about conflict, your core role, and thinking strategically. But remember that storytelling framework I mentioned way back at the beginning? The one that pulls all of these answers together into a neat, powerful package? Well, it's time to reveal your new interview superpower. See, the big secret here isn't just about what you know. It's about how you communicate what you know. The very best answers tell a compelling story, and the best stories always have a clear structure.
And that structure is called the STAR method. It's so simple, so easy to remember, and incredibly powerful. You start with the situation. A developer didn't agree with a bug I logged. Then you state the task. My job was to validate the bug and provide clear evidence. Next comes the action. So I reproduced the issue, provided the database logs, and pointed to the specific requirement it violated. And you finish strong with the result. The developer understood, agreed it was a valid defect, and it was fixed in the next build. See? It's that easy. This framework turns any answer you give into a short, compelling story about how competent you are.
So remember, you really don't have to be afraid of those unexpected questions. When you combine your knowledge with a powerful framework like STAR, you can walk into any interview feeling confident, ready to turn any challenge into an opportunity. You're not just answering questions anymore. You're making your case. So, are you ready to make yours?